All right, so we're going to take a deep dive into the psychology of persuasion,
Okay.
and specifically how to make your letters and your interactions more persuasive.
Yeah.
We're going to be gleaning insights from excerpts of pasted text.
Okay.
And get this,
Okay.
we're going to learn about letters that produced results so good they were called twice as good as miracles.
Really?
Are you ready to unpair this?
Yeah, sure am. I mean, I'm a bit skeptical.
Right.
I mean, anything that claims to be miraculous,
Yeah.
it's got to kind of approach it with a show me attitude.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's like the motto of Missouri, right?
Right, exactly. The show me state.
That's right. Yeah. So let's see what we can uncover here.
Good.
So, one of the sources talks about Ken R. Dyke,
Okay.
who was a sales promotion expert.
Mm-hmm.
And he found that, letter response rates were dismal.
Right.
Typically 5-8%.
Okay.
He got that up to 42.5%.
Wow.
By applying a specific technique.
That's a huge jump.
I know, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And, he was actually connected with Dale Carnegie.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of him.
You know, the How to Win Friends and Influence People guy?
Yeah, that's right.
So he taught that course.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I think that definitely influenced his approach.
I see.
Okay, so let's look at this letter
Right.
that he sent to a lumber dealer in Indiana.
Okay.
And it perfectly illustrates this approach that we're talking about.
Right.
So instead of boasting about his company or, all the amazing things that we're doing,
Right.
he actually presented himself as needing the lumber dealer's help.
Interesting.
So he starts by asking for a small favor,
Mm-hmm.
something that would make this lumber dealer feel important,
Okay.
like a contributor,
Right. Right.
So he suddenly acknowledges this guy's experience
Okay.
and basically positions himself as someone who needs his help.
I see.
And then he even says, I can't report back to my president without your input.
Wow.
So, like, really making this guy feel like,
Like he holds the key.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
his opinion really matters.
Right.
And the way he writes this letter is really interesting, too.
Oh, so.
He uses you all the time instead of I.
Interesting.
So it's all about the recipient. It's not about him. It's about you.
I see.
So it's like, your thoughts and opinions,
Right.
your expertise matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, he concludes with a very sincere expression of gratitude.
Okay.
Like,
Thank you for your time.
thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, hey, I really value your contribution.
I see.
So I'm curious, have you ever gotten a request that
Yeah.
made you feel really valued?
Yeah, I think so.
How did that impact how you responded?
Well, I think I definitely felt more, likely to help out.
Yeah.
If they took the time to like acknowledge my expertise or, really seek my input,
Right.
it makes you feel good.
Yeah, you feel respected.
Yeah.
So it's not just about,
getting what you want.
getting what you want.
It's about building that
It's
relationship.
about the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this whole do me a favor psychology, as they call it,
Okay.
it's not just about business letters. It goes way beyond that.
It applies to everything.
All kinds of situations. Yeah. So for example,
Yeah.
one of these sources talks about these guys
Okay.
who were touring France
Oh, wow.
in their Model T Ford.
Okay.
And they got lost out
Yeah.
in the countryside.
Okay.
And they're surrounded by all these French peasants.
All right.
And, these peasants see these Americans
Yeah.
in this car.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, these guys are millionaires.
Oh, wow.
It must be, related to Henry Ford himself.
Okay.
And so, like, suddenly these
Yeah.
peasants felt like they had something valuable
Yeah.
that these Americans needed.
Right.
So all these peasants are clamoring to give them directions.
Wow, that's funny.
Like one guy's even silencing the others so
Wow.
that he can be the one to help.
Interesting.
And it's funny because these guys just needed directions,
Yeah.
but the peasants saw it as a chance
To show off.
to show off their expertise,
Yeah.
like they were the experts.
Right.
And so it's this perfect illustration of how, needing help,
Mm-hmm.
even in a small way,
Right.
can change the dynamic of
Yes.
an interaction.
Yeah, it puts them in a position of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they want to feel important.
Exactly.
So then you have Benjamin Franklin,
Right.
who was like a master of this
technique.
Yeah. So he tells this story about
Mhm.
how he turned a staunch enemy
Into a friend.
into a friend. Yeah.
Wow.
And he did it by asking him for a favor.
Really?
Yeah. So instead of, trying to win him over,
Oh.
that's kindness or whatever.
Right.
He did something a lot more clever.
Okay.
And he asked to borrow a rare book
Okay.
from this guy's library.
Mhm.
Right. So he was like
Like exalt.
acknowledging
Yeah.
his knowledge and taste and flattering him, basically.
Yeah.
but he was also putting him in a position of power.
Hmm.
And so the enemy, he
Yeah,
was totally flattered by this request.
I bet.
And so he lent him the book.
And then,
And from that point on,
yeah,
their relationship was completely different.
really?
Yeah, and in his autobiography,
Wow.
Franklin even talks about how this guy
Yeah.
became one of his biggest supporters.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, this just shows you
Yeah.
like how powerful this can be.
Really is.
So it's really amazing, how this, just by acknowledging someone,
Yeah,
it can completely change the dynamic.
totally.
And it's not just, historical figures like Benjamin Franklin.
Right.
One of the sources you gave me talks about
Yeah.
this salesman, Albert B. Amsel.
Oh, right.
And he was trying to win over this notoriously difficult plumber.
Oh, so like a tough guy.
Yeah, like a real tough guy.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
he would just brush people off. Like, don't need a thing, keep moving.
Oh, wow.
And Amsel had tried everything.
Every trick in the book.
Yeah, but nothing seemed to work.
So what did he do?
Well, he remembered this approach that we're talking about.
Okay.
And instead of going in there like a salesman,
Yeah.
he went in there
Yeah.
seeking advice.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So he told the plumber that his company was
Yeah.
thinking about opening a new branch
Okay.
in that neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted his opinion on the location.
Oh, wow. So he's making him feel like an expert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the plumber's response was incredible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went from dismissive
Yeah.
to totally engaged
Wow.
and helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he gave him this whole detailed plan.
Like for the store.
Yeah, for the news store.
Wow.
And he even gave him insights
Yeah.
about the local demographics,
Oh,
traffic patterns, all this stuff.
wow.
It almost looks like he flipped a switch.
It's like he became a different person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, Ansel not only got this great information,
Right.
but he ended up getting a big order from the plumber,
Oh, wow.
and they actually became friends.
Wow. So it really is about building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about getting what you want. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that everyone
Yeah.
has something to offer,
Right.
and making them feel important can unlock that potential.
Yeah. And it creates a win-win. For
Exactly.
both people.
So now that we've seen these examples,
Yeah.
I mean, how can we apply this in our own lives?
Right. That's the question, isn't it?
It's not just about letters and plumbers.
Right.
It's about all our interactions. So
Mhm.
instead of barking orders or
Yeah.
making demands,
Or being pushy.
yeah, we should focus on
Making people feel good.
making people feel valued,
For sure.
appreciated. So like framing our requests as favors,
Yeah.
acknowledging their expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and genuinely appreciating their contributions.
Right.
Even simple things
Like what?
like asking someone's opinion
Yeah.
or thanking them for their help.
Yeah.
Those can go a long way.
Totally.
And it's really about shifting our focus
Right.
from me to you.
Exactly.
It's not about how can I get people to do what I want. It's about how can I make them feel good about themselves
Exactly.
and their contributions.
Yeah.
And that creates a more positive,
Mm-hmm.
collaborative environment.
Yeah. When people feel appreciated,
Yeah.
they're more likely to help. They'll be
Exactly.
cooperative.
It's a win-win, but we got to be careful here
About what?
because we can't just be manipulative.
Yeah. People can tell if you're being fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you're just trying to butter someone up
Right.
with fake compliments
Yes.
or, empty gestures.
Exactly. It has to be genuine.
It has to be genuine.
Yeah.
So this principle really works best
Yeah.
when it comes from a place of real respect
Exactly.
and appreciation. And when
Wow.
you do that, it
Yeah.
creates this virtuous cycle.
How so?
Well, people who feel respected,
Yeah.
they're more likely to treat others the same way.
I see.
So it spreads.
It ripples outwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So going back to Dyke.
Yeah.
Remember that 42.5% response rate?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Well, he actually wrote another letter
Oh, really?
that got a 50% response rate
What, 50%?
from architects.
Wow.
And he used the same approach.
So what did he do?
Well, he was trying to get feedback on a
Uh-huh.
new catalog he had created,
Mhm.
and he basically framed it
Yeah.
as this exclusive opportunity.
Like how?
He called them a jury of experts
Oh, wow.
and asked for their professional opinions.
On the catalog.
Yeah, on the catalog.
Wow.
And he even told them
What?
that the fate of the catalog rested in their hands.
Oh, wow. So they really felt important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they responded amazingly. He got all these detailed letters.
Like pages and
yeah,
pages
yeah,
and pages.
pages and pages full of feedback suggestions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they felt
Yeah.
honored to be consulted,
I bet.
and they wanted to share their expertise.
Yeah.
So this really shows us
Yeah.
that everyone, regardless of who they are,
Right.
has valuable insights
Yeah.
and experiences.
Right.
And when we create an environment
Yep.
where those are welcomed
Mm.
and valued,
Yeah.
we can unlock this amazing creativity and collaboration.
That's awesome.
So it's really fascinating, right?
Yeah.
How this do me a favor psychology can be used in so many ways.
Yeah. And it's funny how it kind of works backwards.
What do you mean?
Well, you focus on the other person,
Mm-hmm.
make them feel like they're the important one,
Right.
and that actually gives you more influence.
It's like that judo thing you were talking about.
Exactly.
Using your own momentum against them.
Yeah, but instead of a physical fight, it's
Right.
more like a psychology game.
You're appealing to their ego,
Yeah,
their desire to feel important.
exact.
And we've seen how effective it can be,
Yeah.
from boosting sales
Right.
to strengthening relationships.
Even turning enemies into friends.
It really makes you wonder,
Yeah,
where else could we be using
right,
that?
in our own lives.
Like, where could you use this
That's a good question.
to achieve something you want or to improve a relationship?
Well, maybe there's a coworker
Mm-hmm.
whose expertise I need,
Yeah.
but instead of just demanding their help,
Right.
I could frame it as a request
Yeah.
and acknowledge their skills.
Make them feel good.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a friend or family member you've been meaning to reach out to.
Okay.
And instead of just small talk, you could ask for their advice on something.
Right. Make them feel like their opinion matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even in everyday stuff.
Like what?
Like asking for directions
Mhm.
or help with something.
Yeah.
You can express appreciation
Right.
and acknowledge their effort.
Makes them feel good.
It's about shifting our mindsets
From what to what?
from taken to giving, from demanding to appreciating.
I see.
And that benefits everyone.
Yeah. It creates a better atmosphere.
For everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll get those twice as good as miracles results, but even if we don't,
Yeah.
just making someone feel valued
Yeah.
is a reward in itself.
I agree.
It's a reminder that small acts of kindness
Yeah.
can make a big difference.
Totally.
So as you go about your day,
Yeah.
think about how you can use this.
Just doing a favor thing.
Yeah, look for opportunities to make others feel important,
Yeah.
express appreciation,
Mhm.
and create a more positive world.
I love it.
The power to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's within each of us.
And it starts with making someone feel valued.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah, this is great.
into the psychology of persuasion.
Learned a lot.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
I think people will,
And remember,
yeah,
the journey of learning never
keep exploring
and question.
and keep looking for those aha moments.
That make life so fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
26 days.